Let's talk about January 20th specifically, once Donald Trump is sworn in. You did mention those tariffs, so why don't we start there? Multiple studies and economists have said that those tariffs would have a negative impact on the economy. You're for them, so what do you say to those studies and those economists who say, hey, this could raise inflation?
Well, to be clear, I'm actually not for tariffs, but in the context of his policy in that moment to send a message to Mexico, it was the right message to send. So when you're looking at a tariff, it should be a scalpel, not a sledgehammer. It should be used very specifically for a specific reason and for a specific outcome, whether that's for our economy or regarding national security. But like you said, tariffs tend to be, it tends to end up in some sort of trade conflict. It can historically grow out of proportion. And so but I think what's important about Donald Trump is that if he says he's willing to do it, he's willing to do it. But what that does is that brings Canada, it brings Mexico, it brings other countries to the table to have those conversations, understanding that we are going to look out for our mutual interest and how we both can get along in this economic space together. But that being said, President Trump was right calling out Mexico and Canada for some of their culpability in the illegal immigration and the fentanyl crisis.
He said he's going to levy a 25% tariff rate on Mexican and Canadian imports. He's also going to levy a steep tariff on China. Do you agree with these? When you're talking to the president in your weekly conversations, what are you saying to him about these tariffs?
Well, again, I think part of that is, the art of the deal. He's letting them know that that's on the table so that hopefully it's not necessary. So I don't think you're going to see, I cannot speak for the president of the United States. I don't think you're going to see a 25% tariff on Mexico or on China or on Canada rather. Now, China is a whole different animal. You now have the report that was just released by the COVID committee, the select committee talking about it. Quite frankly, most likely did come from a lab in China. Quite frankly, they did know about it. They waited to tell the world before they addressed it. And so they have been a bad actor for quite some time. And I think Trump is going to be tough on China. But again, what that does is brings China to the table. So whether it's supply chains or trade or whatever else is going on back and forth, and to have a more fair and balanced relationship going forward. And look, China wants to be the sole superpower. That is a fact. They think in terms of dynasty. We think in terms of Starbucks. We're very kind of more short-termed in our way of viewing the world. But that being said, is you have a president who understands that. And again, you've got Ukrainian Zelensky, the president, saying, hey, we're willing to give up land in pursuit of peace, because he recognizes Trump, and he said it, and I'll paraphrase, I'm not going to start wars as a president, I'm going to end wars.